DNA Video Productions is a full-service video producer with a fleet of drones, 4K, and HD cameras, as well as a crew of video operators. We handle commercial and residential real estate videos, as well as events for promotional purposes. We create book trailers, both live-action and running stills, music videos, and website videos. We also film series shorts for online distribution and are currently involved in filming a political parody. We specialize in low-cost movie making. Call DNA Video Productions at 941-748-6865 or visit our website at www.dnavideoproductions.com. That's www.dnavideoproductions.com. Thank you. Our sponsor this month is Published, an affiliate of Village Voices. Published offers all author services from writing tips, critiques, manuscript evaluations, and editing, as well as tips to help you become published. If you prefer to self-publish, purchase the step-by-step book on publishing through Amazon, or purchase services a la carte, from formatting to creating custom covers, or even tips to gather endorsements. The staff is headed by 2 professional writers. After your books are published, either trade paper, electronically, or both, purchase marketing tips, web services, book trailers, or turn your book into an audiobook. Publish provides all your writing, publishing, and marketing needs. So give them a call at 941-748-6865. Contact them online at dgould497@aol.com or go to the website at www.publishedavillagevoices.webs.com. Good afternoon. Welcome to Culture Coast. The intro you just heard was by Al Musitano, and today we are interviewing actor Rich Ramsey. Hi, Rich. Thank you for being on Culture Coast.
Hello.
Excuse the background noise. We have a little bit of music in the background. Today we're going to talk about acting and how local actors find work and what's involved in getting started in the acting field. Not from the start, but just on the local level. It's not as easy as it is to get paying roles as it is when you're in Hollywood or New York. So that's what we're going to discuss, is how people do that on a local level. So when did you first start acting?
I started acting in 4th grade.
In 4th grade. So what were you in?
I actually was introduced into acting by my substitute teacher, who became our permanent teacher. She had worked with other actors. She was a tutor for actors in Hollywood. I lived in San Diego at the time. So she became our permanent teacher and started introducing us into stage, theatrical type acting. And then we started shooting film. And my first film was...
In 4th grade?
In 4th grade.
Wow.
I started... my first film was like a reel-to-reel. I think it was McGraw-Hill Films. These were students or new people that she would bring in like people learning how to be directors and stuff like that. And they come and they film a school safety film. I ended up being one of the kids doing the school safety film. And basically it was called the domino effect, where bad things happen. You know, stuff not to do, like running in the halls or
Oh, kind of like the Highlights magazine. They have the good kid and the bad kid.
well, we were all bad because we were all going to be in accidents. But it was like one thing, you know, leaning back in back of your chair, then somebody would fall, and then somebody would trip over that person, and then it'd be like 10 different accidents just because of one incident.
Okay, that's
And so that was my first film. Then I remember they were going to show it. They were going to go edit it, and they're going to show it the following year, which would have been 5th grade for me. But I moved.
Oh, so this is your family.
So I never
away.
got to see it. But
oh, now how close is San Diego to Hollywood in that whole film industry?
At that time, and we're going back into the 70s, but I think it was like 2-hour drive.
Okay, so it wasn't that close, and yet she was still that involved that she brought it into the school like that.
I mean, there was a lot of people that worked in Hollywood, but they also lived in San Diego, just because of the weather, the beaches, and
commuting is easier than living in LA.
At that time, it was okay. It wasn't that bad. So a lot of actors lived in the San Diego area.
All right, and so 4th grade, you did that. Then what happened when you moved? Where'd you move to?
Well, she introduced me. She introduced me into like auditioning, so I started doing auditions.
4th and 5th grade. You're
4th and 5th
grade. You're already auditioning.
Just doing Child Star. I mean, I got to meet people like Christy McNichols and her brother Jimmy McNichols. She would bring in actors, kid actors, and they would talk about their acting as being a kid actor.
And you were hooked.
Yeah, I was hooked. I was hooked, and I wanted to. I started to do auditions.
So you were hooked. So you're hooked on acting and
hooked.
auditioning.
But my dad was in the military.
Oh.
So all these auditions I went to kind of just faded away. I ended up moving to the island of Guam.
Not a whole lot of industry there?
Not a whole lot of industry there.
How long were you there?
I was cut off for a long time. I was there.
You had a long tour there?
Not really. I think I was there, and then there was a typhoon that came in and kind of wiped the island, and we ended up, I think, probably over a year.
Okay, and then back to the States?
So I went back to the States, and I went back to go visit my teacher, but I moved into the same area.
San Diego again?
Right. It was called Linda Vista, but I went to a different school. So one day I wanted to go visit my teacher and tell her, hey, I'm back, So she was kind of like our manager, talent agent type. And I think she would have been happy to see me, but she was gone.
Oh, in a year you lost her. So where'd you go from there?
From there,
so you're just auditioning anyway?
No, at that point, I tried to find her and I couldn't find her. I knew she got married. I knew she had a baby, so the name changed. And I don't think she was part of the Unified School District.
And we didn't have this Facebook and all the other social media to find anything.
And phone numbers or anything like that. I mean, I'm still 5th, 6th grade at that time. 6th grade. So I couldn't find her anymore. And so that kind of put a hold on everything. But I still had the passion. I mean, if a school had a play or something, I would try to get into it. But being part of my dad being in the military, never really stayed anywhere longer than 2 years at a location.
Right.
So I was always moving to different locations.
I know the feeling.
Yeah. So after that, I think, what did I do? I moved to
high school.
High school, I did some high school plays. I actually moved here to Florida back in 78. Yeah, 78. I moved to Florida. Did a couple plays here, nothing big, just high school stuff, and then.
What about going out into the we have a lot of local theaters that do live plays and stuff. Did you audition for those at all?
Nothing local. When I came back to Florida, I lived really in a rural area. It was basically.
What you got in high school was all you had.
When you went to school, you did what you did, and then you went back home, which we had kind of like a little ranch. So we ended up at the ranch, and we just played with the neighborhood kids. But then my dad got back into the military. My dad had retired or got out of the military, And then he decided he wanted back in, and we ended up going back to San Diego.
Huh.
That's when it really hit me. I had a cousin who was into singing, and she was going to one of these schools that performing arts type schools. That's when I started getting really interested again, and they were filming Simon and Simon. And I think we went up on a field trip to Universal Studios up in LA. I was able to be like an extra back in Simon and Simon was a detective movie on CBS.
I remember it. Two brothers.
So, right. So it got me hooked again.
Gerald
McBeanie?
Mc something was one of them.
Yeah, Gerald was the first name, and I know he was battling cancer, but I think he's okay now. But
I remember.
I forget his last name. I never got to see him.
He was the dark brother.
Right.
Okay.
I never got to see them, and most of the filming,
you didn't get to see him. You just were an extra in the.
I was an extra in it was a chase scene.
So how does that? Oh, it
I
was
also
just
had a speaking
scene.
role in that scene where I got pushed down on a skateboard, and I said something like, "Hey, man, watch it," or something like that.
So you're getting scenes like that now. Is that common that the extras don't actually see the stars?
I've heard of Simon and Simon, and I believe this was like maybe their second or third season, but I never really never saw them.
Never saw them. You were just in a scene, and that
was just in the scene, the chase scene, where like I said, I got bumped and I was pushed to the ground.
Now you've been an extra in other things, though. When that happens, do you generally get a chance to be on the set when the stars are there, or do most extras get filmed when the stars aren't there?
Right. Some of the scenes, like if you're in background, you get to work. You get to work with the actors, but you're not really speaking or saying anything.
No, you're
just being
doing what you're supposed to do.
Right, which almost kind of like a mime. You pay no attention to what they're doing, even though you are listening.
You want to, but you can't look over there because that would look funny.
When I came back to Florida again after I did like a couple indie films in California and some commercials. So I was also big into rodeo and bull riding and stuff like that. So that kind of helped a little bit with like some of the Western wear commercials.
Uh-huh.
When I moved back to Florida, I ended up becoming a fireman for like 20 years. And that took me away from acting.
Well, yeah, because it's kind of hard to schedule it.
Well, kind of hard, and it just my concentration was, to advance up the ladder.
Right.
I ended up being a captain, shift captain for the fire service, and I enjoyed that part of life. And then when I retired and got out of it, I decided, well, let me try something. And I had attended a church play, and it was Scrooge, the Gospel according to Scrooge, and I really enjoyed it. And I told my wife, I said, I'm gonna get back into acting. I'm gonna do this. And it was a couple years later that I'm out of the fire service, and I had time to.
You had time, and you didn't have to worry about the money because you're getting your pension from the fire department.
Right. Well, I'm not getting pension yet because I'm still a young guy. I chose a different career after that.
But did you have enough time in so that you will get a pension?
I do have time. Yeah,
okay.
I do have time. Once I get old enough, I'll
Oh, you don't get to collect it until you get old.
I don't
huh?
get
I didn't know
collect.
that. I thought you got to collect it as soon as you were done.
It was a bad time. That's when a lot of departments were laying off, and it was,
Okay.
I just chose to go a different route after I got out. Mainly because I fell in love with acting again, and then I actually did a stage play called Scrooge, and I did it for about 4 years straight, and doing different roles.
And it was all a paying role, right? So you're in the you are in a guild on stage, correct?
Well, I'm not getting paid a lot of money.
I don't mean that, but you are.
I'm not part of the union, but it was just a local stage in our area. So we did it mainly just to do it, plus it was Christmas. And
all right, yeah, but stage artists are paid. They're just not paid anything like.
They're not paid. Well, yeah. It depends on what you do.
We have a lot of local theaters around here, like the Players Theater, and that they do pay their people.
Sure.
They don't pay them a lot, but they are paid.
You don't, unless you're doing some sort of Broadway show or a traveling Broadway show. Sometimes you can make enough money to live on, but it all depends on, the venue that you're at. And, if you're a traveling actor, and you may be traveling to different towns and
Well,
doing
you're not a traveling actor, but you travel a lot
I
for your
travel
work.
a lot.
I mean, you all the way up to Tampa. How much further north do you go for your acting jobs?
Well, I go to Orlando, I go to Tampa, I go to Miami, I go to
And you're
the East Coast,
staying
Fort
busy.
Lauderdale.
Now these are paying jobs, but not good paying jobs, right?
They're not good. It's really tough to get a good paying job in Florida because number one, our incentives were turned down again. But I chose to be a self-contractor because I do work a regular job as well. So I'm like a weekend warrior actor.
Okay.
If it falls on when I can do it, then I can do it.
And you sometimes take non-paid jobs because of the benefits that you get from it as far as exposure.
Exposure and credits towards your acting.
You have an IMDb page?
I do.
Okay, and is it got quite a few of those jobs? How do you get on to the IMDb? Who puts you there? And
if you're going for credits, sometimes some of these films, not necessarily student films, but like when I started doing some background extra type work, I did Rob Schneider's Real Rob, and that would give me a credit.
All right, now for our people at home that are listening in, what exactly is the IMDb? Because I'm sure
what it is, it's a page and
international. Is it
couldn't
motion
tell you-
picture? No,
I couldn't tell you what it is. I know recently I just
everybody
heard,
who's in film.
if you're in film or some sort of, you could be in a web series or you could be in it depends if
Television
it
series.
qualifies as
Anything video, right?
Right.
Anything video.
If it qualifies,
Commercials.
then commercials can do it too. Yeah, and the more you do,
The better your resume looks.
The better your resume is.
The better your resume is, the more chances you have of getting picked up by somebody because they may see you.
Sure, right.
And eventually, hopefully, better pay because you're getting better roles.
Right, better pay, and you get yourself out there, and people get to see you. They get to know you. That's one of the reasons why I come up here. It's just to be able to someday
Network.
work with some of the people up here, and it's the closest thing to my house, from where I live. Is to come up to Sarasota. It's a little bit of a drive.
You're down in Cape Coral?
I'm in North Fort Myers.
North Fort Myers, okay.
Which is just south of Punta Gorda.
All right, pretty close to that. It's a quiet area as far as the film industry and the acting industry goes there.
Right,
but you're centered though as far as
I'm very centered, and that's what I like about it. Is I can if I have work in Miami, then I'll go to Miami, do some student
And it's
films
an hour
down
and a
there.
half.
About 2 hours.
About 2 hours.
About 2 hours. I can do some work down there, or I recently did Baywatch, which was a paid background, and just you get to see the stars
Are they filming
then
that
too.
in the Miami area, or was that just a one time? Is Baywatch being filmed down there
Baywatch is currently being filmed down there right now.
instead of in Hollywood?
Right.
Wow.
They're gonna. I can't give it. I can't. Give
Okay,
it
that's okay. That's all right. I'm just surprised that
but
they were.
it's interesting how they worked it out.
So the film people managed to entice them there for filming it rather than sticking to the Hollywood area. That's good.
Right, and it's basically location. Location plays a big part. If you have access to a location where you don't have a lot of public involvement, then that's a good place to film. When I did Real Rob in Orlando, that was based out of L.A. The house and everything was supposed to be L.A. If you watch the show, it's all done in L.A. pictures, but it was
Filmed
actually
in
filmed in
Orlando. That's funny.
Yeah.
Usually it's the other way around. They want you to look like it's somewhere else, but it gets filmed in LA.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's to save money, but they, Full Sail University is or college is up there in Orlando,
And they are a huge
They use
facility.
a lot of the equipment that they use to film, and you'll see pictures of Los Angeles. And I think their last 2 weeks of filming were in LA. But other than that, everything was done in Orlando.
And so you're on your main. You apply to all these casting calls that come out through all these different groups, right? And
Sure.
that when you fit a part, whether it's an extra or a regular role, you send in a headshot. What else do you have to do for those?
Okay, when I see a casting call and I feel like there's a part there that I can do, and a lot of it's based on age now too. I'm getting a little older, so I have to look for older parts.
Now you have to
I
look
play
for
a father figure, I play a bartender, a bouncer, but at the same time I can look young and play a younger person as well. But it has to be something that I know I can fit in and that's going to work with my schedule. And so, like I said, I'm an independent person or contractor, so I'll contract myself out once I get an acceptance as to, yeah, I'll do your role. But for the most part, you send out your headshots, you send out your resume. If you have a reel is something, maybe some old acting stuff that you've done, all put together so people can see.
On an SDS card or?
On an SDS card or
even
YouTube.
digitally? Okay.
If you have a link, you can send it on to, whoever's doing the casting your link and they can watch the stuff that we have done. Makes it a lot easier for them to make a decision.
Right.
And then you got the normal audition. When you go to audition, you give them your headshots and your resume. And if they like you, they'll pick you.
Very cool. Now, I know this past month you've been extremely busy. Is that unusual for you, or is it starting just to pick up so much because of all the films and everything that's being done down here?
It's a little bit of both. My schedule's a little bit more flexible now, so now I'm starting to pick stuff more in the week. A lot of filming, especially like feature films, a lot of times they'll do a lot of things during the weekend. But for the most part, it's done Monday through Friday.
Yeah, and most of the time that's because the feature films that are done in this area are usually indie, and they have day jobs, or their stars have day jobs, so they kind of get forced into the weekend.
Right. If it's a student film, a lot of times they like to do it while they're in school. Feature films, they'll give you dates, and if you can fit one of those dates, then you request those dates.
Right.
And then they'll give you a call. Hey, you want to do this? And then you say yes or no.
You can or you can't.
Yeah, but you got to give them a decision quick, because if it's a large one like I did with Baywatch or Ballers, where there was a lot of
time needed,
actors and a lot of people, they need to know that information right away.
And you don't have time to dilly-dally. Well, I got everything else.
And I look at it as, most feature films or television shows, I try to get in as much as possible. Maybe one episode, or maybe, just a little scene that they have in the movie.
And you have one coming up, hopefully soon, that you might be a lawyer?
Yeah, I just got.
Do you have to supply your own three-piece suits for those?
For the most part, if it's like a student film, you supply your own stuff. Now, costuming, if they accept you, then they'll contact you and they'll say, hey, we need your sizes, or they'll ask you up front what your sizes are, and then you just give them your sizes, and hopefully they can find what they need you to wear in the right size. Okay. But that's usually more of a production, and that usually requires a lot more time.
And you don't usually have the time for those because of your regular work.
I mean, I do have a day job, and I do, but I always keep those available. And then there's my private time,
Doesn't that make you really busy? I mean, you've got a family, and you've got a day job, and you're doing all this.
I mean, all my weekends are full.
When do you sleep?
When do I sleep? I sleep while I'm going to the audition, or I sleep
on the road.
Right. I did an audition last weekend. I was in Tampa, and then I think there was one where I filmed in Miami, and then I did an audition in Orlando, and then I did another audition, which I just got. In fact, in the lead role.
Wow.
And that starts filming in April. So I went to Miami, Orlando, and Tampa in one weekend.
Yeah, I saw your Facebook that you were flying all over the place, and I didn't know if we were going to even have time for the interview this week.
Right.
Yeah, so I wasn't sure if you would even have time for that, because your Facebook has shown you all over the state this month.
And that's that's part of the job, and that's part of just getting to.
And your family, your wife is supportive of this. Or is she getting a little lonely?
We'll see when I'm holding the Oscar. When I go to thank everybody.
When you get that gown for her to take on the wear on the red carpet.
Yeah, well, she's been very supportive of it, but I still have my duties that I have at home to do. I think the main thing is her concern of the travel. Where are you going? Where are you going to be this weekend? When are we going to do something for ourselves?
Yeah, when do we get to go out?
Right. And I told her April and May is going to be very busy.
And is that because of the weather starting to warm up now, or is it just...
It's just because I was accepted in different roles, so it's...
And so much more is coming to the area.
And so much more is coming to the area, and I'll be there with everybody else. I take it. If I get the part, I get it. If I don't, I don't.
All right.
I don't dwell on it. But so far, I've been good. I've been lucky.
Now, do you have, you're on Facebook, and that's under Rich Ramsey?
Yeah, Rich Ramsey.
And you're looking to open a page, Rich Ramsey, not Rick, Rich Ramsey, actor. Yes? And
right.
That's R-I-C-H?
It's R-I-C-H.
Because you want to be rich someday? I'm sorry, I'm just joking. All right, and then Ramsey, R-A-M-S-E-Y, like yes. Heck Ramsey, the old show?
Heck Ramsey. In fact, that's what my dad used to be called.
Oh, yeah?
Because of the old show.
I love that show.
Used to have his hat
I love that actor.
Heck.
I forget who he was, but I loved him. I thought he was hunky for an old man.
He was before my time.
He was hunky for an old man. All right, well, I really appreciate you being on Culture Coast. It's been a pleasure having you, and I wish you lots and lots of luck in the future, and I hope I can have you in one of my future productions.
If I'm available, I'm there.
Very nice.
Nightmares. Frightful visions during the night, causing terror and loss of sleep. Daymares. Frightful visions during the day, causing fear and paranoia. Gothmares. Gothic visions that can happen anytime, causing horror and disgust. But sometimes they offer answers. Read Gothmares if you dare. Gothmare is a young adult novel by Al Musitano, available on Amazon and fine bookstores everywhere.
Village of the Arts, the largest artist colony in the state of Florida, located on 42 acres, includes artists, homes, galleries, gardens, and restaurants featuring handcrafted gifts, fine art sculptures, painting, photography, enviro art, healing arts, books, mystics, and musical variety. A few of the galleries are unique in their offerings. Village Voices specializes in books and art created exclusively by Florida residents. The Dancing Crane Gallery offers fine art, custom jewelry, and unique, innovative art. The Village Mystic offers all things metaphysical: meditation, massage, mediums, aromatherapy, psychics, shamans, Reiki healing, and the gem mine, where you can mine for your own personal treasure. Yoga Arts offers classes or one-on-one coaching. Musicians and bands can be found throughout the area. Many of the artists and musicians offer classes. Restaurants and bakeries provide respite for the weary and magic for the foodies. Visit during the first Friday Art Walk and stroll through the shops and galleries enjoying free appetizers, wine, music, and demonstrations. For hours and information, please visit the website at www.villageofthearts.com.